Dear friends, I speak to you on the indispensable role of fathers. The family is the foundation of every society. It is within the family that human life is conceived, nurtured, and prepared for the wider world. Yet in many modern societies, and particularly in the Caribbean, the role of father has become increasingly misunderstood, undervalued, or absent. The consequences are seen in fractured homes, struggling youth, and communities searching for stability. To restore the health of our societies, we must discover the indispensable role of fathers, not merely as biological contributors, but as spiritual leaders, protectors, and co-partners in the divine work of raising children. From the very beginning of creation, Scripture presents fatherhood as an essential aspect of God's plan for humanity. God Himself is revealed as Father, a loving, compassionate, yet firm presence who provides, guides, and disciplines His children. Every human father is called to mirror this divine image. In the book of Genesis, Adam is given responsibility not only to care for the garden, but also to name, guide, and protect his family. His vocation is one of stewardship and leadership rooted in the love and obedience to God. Later, in the life of Abraham, we see faith-filled fatherhood expressed in trust and sacrifice, qualities that form the foundation of every godly home. In the New Testament, Joseph, the foster father of Jesus, stands as a model of quiet strength and fidelity. Though not the biological father of Christ, he assumes the full responsibility of providing, protecting, and forming the young Jesus. His example shows that fatherhood is not merely biological, but relational and spiritual. Thus, biblically speaking, the father's role is threefold. 1. Protector, guiding his family from harm, both physical and moral. 2. Provider, ensuring the material and emotional well-being of his household. 3. Sharing equally with his wife in the responsibility of nurturing and forming the children. True fatherhood reflects the nature of God: loving yet firm, compassionate yet strong, humble yet courageous. It is an act of self-giving love modeled on the fatherhood of God Himself. Fatherhood is not about dominance or control. It is about responsibility and partnership. A good father understands that his role complements, not competes with, that of the mother. Together, husband and wife form a balanced unit of love and authority, providing the stability that every child needs to flourish. As protector, a father shields his family from external threats and internal disunity. He creates a home environment where love, safety, and respect thrive. Protection is not limited to physical safety. It also involves moral and spiritual vigilance, guiding the family from destructive influence, whether in media, behavior, or relationships. As provider, a father ensures that the needs of the family are met through honest labor, prudent management, and generosity of spirit. Yet provision is more than bringing home material resources. It involves emotional support, presence, and encouragement. A child values the father who listens, advises, and stands by them even more than the one who merely provides financial security. as co-equal partner, the father shares equally in the moral and emotional formation of his children. The notion that childbearing is primarily the mother's duty is both outdated and unbiblical. In God's plan, both parents bring complementary gifts. The mother often embodies nurturing tenderness, while the father models strength, discipline, and stability. Both are needed for the healthy development of the child. A well-functioning family provides the essential balance every child needs between authority and affection, freedom and responsibility, discipline and love. Psychologists and educators agree that children thrive best in environments where both parents are actively involved. The presence of a father adds a unique dimension to a child's development. Fathers often encourage risk-taking, independence, and resilience, while mothers emphasize care, empathy, and emotional intelligence. These complementary influences help the child form a well-rounded personality. Without that balance, children may struggle to navigate authority, self-control, and emotional maturity. A father's affirmation gives a child confidence. When a son hears from his father, "I am proud of you," it strengthens his sense of identity. When a daughter feels her father's protection and respect, she learns her worth and sets healthy expectations for future relationships. In this way, fathers shape the emotional and moral foundations of their children's lives in ways that last long after childhood. The absence of fathers have become one of the most pressing social challenges of our time. Across the Caribbean, and indeed the whole world, many households are led by single mothers doing their best under difficult circumstances. While these women deserve admiration and support, the absence of fathers has undeniable effects on the moral and psychological health of the child. Studies consistently show that children who grow up without the presence of a father figure are more vulnerable to poverty, behavioral issues, poor academic performance, and difficulty forming stable relationships. The absence of a loving and responsible father often leaves emotional wounds that manifest later in life as anger, insecurity, or rebellion. For young men, the lack of a father figure deprives them of a role model for manhood. Without an example of responsible masculinity, many turn to peers, gangs, or media to define their identity, often with destructive consequences. For young women, the absence of a father can lead to a longing for affection and affirmation, sometimes sought in unhealthy ways. The church and society must therefore take seriously the task of restoring fatherhood, not only biologically, but relationally and spiritually. A father's life speaks louder than his words. His conduct sets the tone for what his children perceive as normal and acceptable. A man who lives with integrity, prays faithfully, respects others, and works diligently teaches lessons no classroom can provide. Young men especially need fathers as role models of strength, discipline, and faithfulness. Boys learn from the fathers how to treat women, how to handle conflicts, how to persevere in hardships, and how to stand for truth. Likewise, daughters learn from their fathers what to expect from men, what love, respect, and trust looks like in action. The father is also a guide. helping his children navigate the moral complexities of life. Discipline, properly understood, is not punishment but instruction, helping a child understand the difference between right and wrong and the importance of responsibility. The father who disciplines in love teaches that freedom is not license, that every action carries consequences. To understand the challenge of fatherhood in the Caribbean, one must consider the historical context. The legacy of slavery deeply disrupted the family life in our region. During the era of enslavement, African men were systematically denied the right to be husbands and fathers. Families were separated, marriages were not legally recognized, and men were often reduced to laborers without paternal authority. This historical trauma left deep scars on Caribbean social structures. After emancipation, the economic and social instability continued to determine the formation of stable family units. The result has been what sociologists describe as the matrifocal society, where women often bear the primary responsibility for the household, and male participation in family life is inconsistent. Marriage as a stable institution became an exception rather than norm, and many men grew up without seeing examples of faithful fatherhood. This broken pattern has persisted through generations, producing a cycle of absent fathers and vulnerable families. Even today, despite advances in education and economy, the emotional wounds of this history remains visible. Many Caribbean men struggle with their sense of identity, purpose, and responsibility within the family. To heal this, we must reclaim the biblical and cultural dignity of fatherhood. The question arises, what can be done to change the present mindset? First, there must be a renewed spiritual awakening regarding the sacred vocation of fatherhood. Men must be reminded that to be a father is to reflect God's own love and strength. The church, through preaching, formation programs, and men's ministries, has a crucial role to play in helping fathers rediscover their identity and mission. Second, society must promote policies and instructions that support families rather than undermine them. Economic realities often place tremendous stress on fathers, especially when employment is unstable or poorly paid. Social support system, parenting education, and mentorship programs can help fathers become more involved and confident in their roles. Third, the media and education systems should portray positive images of fathers, men who are caring, faithful, and strong. Too often, media caricatures of men as irresponsible or absent perpetuate stereotypes that discourage responsible fatherhood. Finally, at the personal level, healing must begin with forgiveness and reconciliation. Many men today carry emotional pain from absent fathers or broken homes. They must be helped to forgive, to heal, and to choose a different path for their own children. A new generation of fathers, formed in faith and love, can break the cycle of neglect and restore dignity to families. When fathers fulfill their role with love and responsibility, the benefits are profound and far-reaching. Families become more stable, children more secure, and communities more peaceful. Boys grow into respectable men. Girls become confident women. A strong and loving father fosters emotional resilience and spiritual depth in his children. His presence gives them a sense of belonging and purpose. Families led by both parents tend to be more balanced and better able to withstand the pressures of modern life. The church, too, benefits from strong fathers. They provide leadership in parishes, serve as catechists and mentors, and model faith in action. Ultimately, the renewal of fatherhood is inseparable from the renewal of society and the strengthening of the church. In conclusion, the indispensable role of fathers cannot be overstated. Fathers are not optional figures. They are essential to the moral, emotional, and spiritual well-being of the family. In discovering the sacred vocation of fatherhood, we discover something of God Himself, His strength, His mercy, and His unwavering love. To every father, the challenge is clear. Be a protector, a provider, a partner in love. Your presence shapes lives. Your example builds character. And your faith gives your children a glimpse of the fatherhood of God. The future of our families, and indeed our nation, depends on men who embrace their vocation with courage and devotion. A renewed culture of respectable and loving fatherhood will not only heal the wounds of the past, but also build a strong, more compassionate Caribbean society for generations to come. God bless you all.